Oh, there we go. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the third stream of the day. Today is a very special occasion. Normally, I would be gone about now, but today we have something very special for you guys. We are here with the guys from Visionary Realms, the makers of Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen, for a special developer art and technical stream. Today we're going to be seeing some of the artistic and technical things that they've been working on over the past few months, basically since you guys last saw us, as we gear up for, well, the big production stuff that they're working on right now. So, I'm going to go ahead and stop the music right now, and we're going to go ahead and go right over to Ben, who is the person coordinating the stream today. So, Ben, how you doing today, man?
Good. How you doing, Cole?
Doing great, doing great. So what are we going to be doing today, and who's here with us?
Well, we've got quite a few people with us today. We're going to be taking a look at some of the technical art of Pantheon, like you mentioned, which is really exciting stuff. It's taking Pantheon to the next level graphically. The visual fidelity has improved. You're going to see that on the stream. We're going to talk a little bit about the guts of it, what's happening behind the scenes, so you're going to get an exclusive look at that. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Ben Walters, our community manager.
Hey guys, I am Ben Walters. The other people know me as Kilson, as the community web manager, and I play the sneaky rogue of the group today.
So wait, we have 5 people here today total, including me?
Mm-hmm.
And That's 3 of our names are Ben.
Yes.
All right, well then. All right, the stars have aligned. Sorry, please continue.
Starting to take over. I'll pass it on to Mr. Perkins.
Hey everybody, this is Chris Joppa Perkins. I'm the creative director here at Visionary Realms, and it's my pleasure to introduce our technical artist, Bruno Rhyme. Our stream today is really devoted to the fruit of his labor, and we're really excited to show off all the work Bruno's done. Really, in the relatively short amount of time that he's been on the team, he's made a huge difference, and hopefully that impact will be seen today. So our goal today is to highlight a lot of the current current art paths that we're in and that Bruno's leading, and to show off several areas where we can see some of these key elements taking shape. So I'm going to pass it off to you, Bruno.
Thank you, Chris. My name's Bruno. I'm a technical artist on Pantheon, and I'm feeling really privileged to join the team. It's been a fantastic experience, and it's been great to now be ramping up the art along with the other artists and people of the Pantheon team.
Very cool.
Okay, so here, where we are right now, this is what we're looking at here is the lighting for this new area, and as you might notice, that the fidelity of the lighting has increased. From what we've previously seen.
Yeah, let's actually, sorry for interrupt. Let's take a look at what the game used to look like when Bruno mentions the lighting. Let's go ahead and pull up that first screenshot.
The very first one. Here we go. This is what the game looked like originally. In fact, this is how it looked when we first looked at it, right, Ben?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. If not...
So you can see in this screenshot, there's very little shadowing. I mean, the terrain is pretty barren. It's just not quite, it doesn't feel alive. But now, we're here. Ooh. You guys have made a lot of progress in the time that we've been doing this.
Right. Tell us what's going on here, Bruno, with the lighting.
Yes, okay, thank you. So what we've done is we've unified our lighting system. And in the process of doing that, we've increased the intensity of the lighting, the contrast. We've used systems to ensure that the detail in the shadows is much stronger. We've utilised Unity's latest post-effect systems, and in the near future we'll be moving on to even better ones. So this is sort of like our general first pass on the lighting to take it to the next level. It's definitely a work in progress, but as you can see, it's our basic first step, which will enable us to tune our art, get everything combined and refined together, so we can introduce more and more into our scenes and have them look grounded unified and detailed.
So Bruno mentions it's kind of a first step in the right direction. So there's a few more steps coming, and what's interesting here is we're trying to get this to kind of an end goal for around pre-alpha, which is going to be starting up fairly shortly. Which reminds me, we're going to be removing pre-alpha from the pledges soon. So if you're on the fence about Pantheon, head on over to pantheonmmo.com, and pre-alpha is still available to get in on that early access as of right now, but not for much longer.
Okay, so just to be clear, when the pre-alpha comes out, the ability to get into it will be gone?
Into pre-alpha, yes. We still have several other pledge tiers available that will give you alpha and beta access depending on which tier you come in on. But the pre-alpha, the very first wave, that's going to be gone soon.
Okay. Very cool.
So one of the cool things here, Ko, if you pull up your UI again and... Sure. Just knock the clip plane down, all the way down. You'll see something that
all the way down.
Yeah.
Clip distance?
Clip distance, that's right.
Whoa.
And Bruno, can you tell us what's kind of going on in the background there? Why that? What's happening with that dome?
Okay. Yeah. Sure. What we're revealing there is what's used to draw the background, and more importantly, how that influences our ambient light. So we're using an image-based lighting system for our ambient light at the moment. So what that enables us to do is to have detail that represents something similar to the environment which the characters would be in. So when we go into the shadows, if we do move into a shadowed area, you'll notice that the characters don't lose all their shading. There is a type of reflected light which is coming up underneath the character, which generally matches the tone of the entire level. And there are details to the left and to the right. So in a full three-dimensional sense, which enable all the little bits of bump mapping and normal mapping, all the effort that the artists have put into their textures and so forth to still be visible. Because we'll be moving later on into a time of day system, that becomes really important that we have our systems working in that way, because the shadows will be long. There'll be times a day where most of the scene will be in shadow, and we really want to make sure that visual fidelity is still there, and we've got a good sense of contrast and definition.
Just awesome. The work on the shadows on the characters is so much better. Man, that's really great.
It's come a long way, huh?
Yes.
I really want to emphasise that it really is the first step. There are the fidelity will only get better from this point.
Mm. Are we ready to see the next? Go to the next spot.
Sounds great.
Let's do it.
Okay. Cool. Oops. There we go. I was trying to find the summon command. I'm typing everything but the right command. All right.
I have never been up here.
No. And
no, you
can
not.
fall and die. I found out during our testing.
I don't have my safe fall anymore.
So let's talk about what's going on here a little bit, Bruno.
Okay, this spot here we've chosen because it enables us to show where we're going in terms of performance improvements, and as you can see, we've got as you look over the tops of the towers, you can see we've got quite an extreme draw distance, and all our details are all visible. So we're not turning objects off, we're lotting them down, we're managing our systems so we can get that full sense of distance. You'll get a nice sense of scale and depth. That comes down to how we're managing our art and how we're managing the way we draw things. Well, there goes somebody. And
See you, Gilson.
Oh, he didn't make it.
No, he didn't make it.
the tower that we're on now, and I'll talk about this in more detail later, is using some systems which enable us to draw as much as we can, as efficiently as we can. And I'll go into more detail on how that works in terms of how that also helps our artists in terms of their production in a little bit. Another thing I'd like to draw attention to, and this is in the prelude to our time of day systems, that we've got clouds moving across the top. Those clouds are procedural.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and what'll be great about that is that later on, when our full time of day system is implemented, they will change with the light, they will change with the weather, and they'll just sort of really give you a nice sense of ambience. And they're fairly performant too, which is something we're pretty proud of.
Yeah, I'm baffled up here. I mean, we have so much draw distance. Everything that I have is turned up, and I am getting, I believe, I don't have a FPS counter, but I think F11. I'm at even 60, if not more. F11?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. 60 frames pretty much, right on the dot. Wow. Yeah. And I can still see right on the left inside of the door of the town in front of me, the decals for the flags.
Yep.
Wow. It is our first step. There are many systems which we haven't optimized yet in terms of technical art. When we do that, we will see greater performance.
So one slight. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
Oh no, it's something as a technical artist that is a real key to what we. It's a personal goal and a goal for the team, you know, to ensure the performance is where it needs to be.
Yeah, we've been saying that since the very beginning, that we want to marry the visuals with the performance. We want to make sure the game's beautiful and is a world that people want to live in and explore, but that it's smooth and it's optimized and it runs well, so that players can truly enjoy it. Because otherwise, you know, it really ruins the experience. So it's a constant goal of ours.
Those clouds are looking amazing too.
So there's been a couple people mentioning it. Bruno, what's happening with the flags?
Oh, okay. The flags at the moment are just using our standard shader, so there's nothing on them to make them animate just yet. So that's just something that'll come later on. That's
placeholder. Yeah,
it's very placeholder, very pre-alpha. And the reason that they've been left in that way is they're sort of integral to the towers and the tower system. So they're all drawing at once. They're all being batched at once. So even all these little fine details that you see.
There's hundreds of these.
Yeah, mm-hmm. There are many.
Just wait until they're all flapping and waving in the wind. It's going to be really nice.
And the key to it is that this is all batched. By that I mean it's sent to the GPU all in one group, which enables us to, and that's where we get a large part of our performance. It's a little trick that we've got up our sleeve, and I will go into more detail about that when we get down to another spot.
Okay, so before we head out of here, let's take one last look. Ko, do you want to pull up the second screenshot? We'll just do a quick before look at what the clouds and area used to look like.
Absolutely. Here is our very first screenshot, and I think this is again what it looked like when we first did it. And then we have this. There we go. Yeah, that looks a lot different. Whoa, am I actually seeing someone running on the road right now?
You could very well be.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Yeah. So, a quick technical question. Is the actor distance going to be the same as the general clip distance?
Probably not.
Okay.
To be honest. Once something gets small enough that you can't see it, we will be definitely turning it off.
But if it's large enough to see, so like for instance, would I be able to see guards on the bridge from here?
Ooh,
That's
I'm
really far.
Yeah, it might be an option that we can put in as a slider, that we will be able to draw everything from virtually any different distance. But I would say, in general, for general game performance, possibly not. By the time something gets 1 or 2 pixels big, we'll definitely be turning it off by default.
So tell me something, is a guard called a thrown fast regular? Because if it is, I just clicked on one from here.
So
that is unbelievable.
This is also something that's going to be used or tested out in our pre-alpha stages, and going through any of our testing phases. We'll figure out what kind of machines people are using, how far that can go, how far we can really push it. But anyway, I hate to push things, but let's move on to the next part, the next area.
Yeah, as we're going there, I would just say we'll always err on the side of putting it in the player's hands as much as we can when it comes to different specs, being able to turn different settings up. So we love that too. The more you can see, the further you can see, the better. So we're gonna do what we can.
I accidentally left F11 on, and can I say how fun it is that I can see the AI routine step that's currently running?
Oh yeah.
Can we just keep that for live, please?
So
this area perception skills high enough.
I believe we're coming here to sort of talk a little bit more about how the performance increases are going, if I'm not mistaken, Bruno. Is that correct?
Yeah. I'm going to talk about performance from 2 points of view. One is the performance in game, in terms of FPS and speed, and the other one is how efficient it is for us to produce the art as a team, and especially as an indie team. Now, the arch that you're looking at now, which is using the shaders and the in-house tools that we've written to create the content, has been specifically designed in a way that enables us to use as the resources in terms of performance in-game and the resources in terms of us as a team as efficiently as possible. So with this tower, we can, the artist can paint the textures on within the Unity editor, within the engine. They can paint on the details to get the grunge, and in this case, this is the moss that is in the corners, and over different bits and pieces. The UVs can be and are in certain areas automatically projected. That means that the artists don't have to go through and manually add those details in themselves. It allows us to create more content in a shorter space of time, and hopefully make the world a richer place and a more fulfilling place for everyone to be in. We want to try and relieve our artists from having to do too much grunt work, so they can be enabled in terms of their artistic freedom, and by doing that, we feel we'll produce a better game in a shorter amount of time for our users and players.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and that for us is the ultimate goal in why we write this tech, and why we go down those roads.
So that sort of leads us into the question. Several people have asked, how does this affect resources internally? So maybe Chris Perkins, you can tell us how this has affected the team and what they're working on.
Uh-oh, did we lose Chris?
Sorry, muted.
Oh, there we go. Awesome.
Oh, that rogue mute button. It's like a rogue.
Rogue silence.
Yeah, I mean, the answer is really pretty simple. This is the benefit of bringing on specialists like Bruno. And so while all of this technical art is being worked on by Bruno, and Bruno kind of leading that charge, that's being done in parallel with programming, with system design, with game design. It's not draining any resources. And so we can say no programmers were harmed in the making of these visual updates.
Not me.
But more importantly, for the people that are begging and biting at the bit for alpha, everything to get alpha out there is moving along in parallel, essentially.
That's right.
So
That's right.
Perfect. Great.
And just as a reminder, the reason why we were able to get these artists on and work in parallel with our development team is from the investments, but also from the pledges that you guys have been making, our fans have been making. So once again, we want to thank you. And there's plenty of pledges available, lots of different options for any budget and for anybody who's interested in a socially charged, challenging MMO. Just head on over to pantheonmmo.com. And with that, should we head over to the next area?
Oh, yes. Can't get over how different this looks.
So we saw this area from way far away, but now we're a little bit closer. So
Oh, whoa.
I believe we're talking about shadow distance here, are we not, Co? Or sorry, Bruno?
Yeah, if I can draw your attention to the west. So if you look over towards the west, out over the lake there, you'll notice that everything in the scene is shadowed. Now, if we're able to, on the settings, to drag the shadow distance back and keep a view of those trees in the far distance there, you might notice that even when you drag your shadow distance down, the shadows in the distance themselves don't actually change.
I'm going to be totally honest with you here. My shadow distance looks to be an on-off switch on the very first pixel.
Really?
Yeah, it's all or nothing on the very first pixel from the looks of it. With that being said, we can see what it looks like without shadows. And then we can see what it looks like with shadows.
Well, that's good. I mean, it'll show you the stark contrast.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Completely. Especially in the foliage on the trees. Like, that is... That is literally night and day from the looks of it.
Pull up screenshot 4 and you'll see what it used to look like, and then see.
Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. Okay. That is much, much different.
Yeah.
So there's a little trick which we're doing with our shadows, and that the far shadows are not actually using the Unity shadow system. We've written our own. And part of our performance ability and the performance that you're seeing is that those shadows have very little impact in terms of GPU usage.
Okay, big thank you to chat, by the way. It looks like my on-off shadows were across the lake, but if we look to the left here, we can actually see the progression.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So the trick is that the shadows are still drawing in the distance, even when you're turning your shadow distance down. It might seem like a small thing, but what that allows us to do, and if you turn it all the way down, you'll see the whole shadow system turn itself off. What that allows us to do is to ground everything. Everything feels so much more three-dimensional. The foliage, like you pointed out, looks voluminous when there are shadows, and it looks flat when there aren't. It's something we're pretty proud of that we've developed in-house. And you'll see that roll out in every level. It'll be an integral part of the game.
Yeah, I don't know how much Bruno is planning on tooting his own horn, but I do just want to throw in there that what Bruno's doing really is even taking the Unity engine a little bit further than we imagined it could go. And so just want everyone to understand that a lot of these updates, part of the reason that it looks so good is because Bruno has really pushed what Unity can do in some pretty amazing ways.
In fact,
So,
Unity
kudos.
themselves, the developers of Unity, were surprised at the stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, it really is amazing.
Very cool.
Thanks,
Well,
Chris.
let's take a look at the water next, and I'll pull
Yeah,
the
I
group.
was excited about that.
Oh, whoa.
Sorry, did I pull you out of?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay. So here's a closer look at the water. What's going on here, Bruno?
Right, okay.
Skip to it.
Yeah,
Skip
that's
to
all
number
right.
6. Sorry.
That's fine. The water is something that we've written ourselves. Again, this is our customized especially for Pantheon. It's in its very, very early stages, so it's not complete, but we found the existing water systems that were available to us were too slow. So we set aside the time to write our own. Now it has been tuned specifically for Pantheon. It will get better from this point, but as you can see, it utilises a fairly realistic set of algorithms, and although you can't see this rolled out in all the assets just yet, there is a feature called subsurface scattering, and the water uses that to get that diffuse look when you look into it, and how the colours change when it gets to a deeper, more voluminous area.
Hey, Kilson, could you come run over in front of the grass in front of us? I think we can see some of that on your legs when you're running through.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, man. Wow.
It's in its early stages, but that same map has actually been written and it's been utilised in everything. We've customised the Unity renderer, the deferred renderer, to use the exact same information. So we will see this same sort of level of depth in the grass shortly, in the trees and the leaves, all the foliage, and it'll be rolled over to the skin shaders as well. And in the way that we've done it, the performance will be exactly the same as you see it now. Normally you're unable to do subsurface scattering on in a deferred system, but for Pantheon, because so much of the world is organic and in natural looking, we wanted to ensure that we could draw that and draw everything in that same way. Now, the more technically minded people would say, okay, but water is being drawn in forward lit, so that doesn't directly relate to the deferred opaque surfaces which you see. But I assure you, and we'll make sure we get some screenshots up shortly, not for this feed, but in general and through our website, that you can see the subsurface scattering over everything, everything that it should be, that is. What else can I say about the water? That really sort of covers it. If we run around over towards the other side of the mill there, you get to see the water in a deeper area.
Yeah, I think depth would be good to show.
Yeah, and you'll get to see the reflections and so forth across it. So you're able to see the transition in terms of depth, the refraction and so forth. Later on, we'll put shore wake on. We'll put wave crests and all sorts of bits and pieces onto it. So it'll go further. But right now, this is our first pass, and it will only get better from here.
Let's take a quick look at screenshot 6.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a pretty big change, I'd say.
Like you can see some of the murkiness and such in that screenshot, but yeah, this is far and above.
It's a completely different level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's head on to the next. Heading on to 5, I believe. Yeah.
Whoa, did it just get foggy?
It did.
I
So what's
love this
happening
area.
here?
All right. Once again, this is just a very early implementation, but it's the first step into creating localized effects for specific areas. Right now, the only localized effect is a little bit of lighting and the fog, which you're seeing now. And the fog is volumetric, so as you run around it, you'll see that it changes and it thickens. It hopefully it plays for us at the moment. It's at the moment on a random cycle, so it may thicken or it may not. But if you walk in towards the centre there, you'll see a glow which glows through it.
Whoa.
And sort of highlights how the fog can change, and you'll see sort of like wispy shapes moving through. And hopefully it will thicken over time, and you'll get to see just the thickness and the lighting change as it goes through. But first step, when we roll over to Unity 2017, the new post-effect system will enable us to take this even further, and we'll be able to get some real ambience in these areas. So you'll feel a real transition as you go from one spot to another. And we can create those, atmospheric dungeon crawls and things that people really expect from a great MMO.
There's a lot of audio cues in here too that really bring this whole area together. I'm not sure how much audio we've got coming through on the stream at the moment, but if you pay attention to the ambient creatures like the crows perched and flying around, and the even the obelisk itself has some audio coming off of it. This is actually, just to get into a little bit of the game design, this is an atmosphere, one of our atmospheres called Gloom. The visual effects of it are still obviously being dialed in a little bit, but it's not just a visual area. There are a lot of gameplay dynamics in here as well, the effects that Gloom will have on you when you're in the vicinity of it. So it's just a really cool little area that's coming together nicely, I think.
So I have to say, I really like how those sound cues are 3D space. So you hear a crow cawing, and you turn to look at it, and it follows you to the direction it came from.
Yeah.
That's really fun. Oh man, this place is gorgeous.
Yeah, and again, sorry, go ahead, Ben.
Oh, sorry, man. I was just going to say, I think if we tried hard enough, we'd be able to summon something nasty in this area.
Well, we're running a little bit short on time now, so we're going to have to wrap up soon, but maybe we can take a look at another special area.
Oh, you were almost there, Kilson.
He's always trying to find places to fall off. It's awesome. Let's take a look at Halnir's Pass Cave real quick. So I'll type it in group chat.
Oh, is this for me?
Yeah, because we have to manually zone.
Sure.
Just type in /zone HPC.
On the way. Ooh, dungeon.
And just type /aggro just to make sure you don't get killed.
Aggro is now off. Oh. And I got another load screen.
Oh. Did you zone out?
Yeah.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Oh, are we right next to a zone?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just get scared anyway.
This is when I zone out, and sitting in front of me is going to be an in-game representation of the alpha date, all of your roadmaps, everything you need. This is when you start screaming, "Turn it off! Turn it off!"
A little secret room with
Coming
cat
back
faces
in.
Yep.
All right, are you back in?
I am back in, and aggro is off.
All right.
Nope.
Let's go to the bridge. I'm sure some of our previous viewers have seen this bridge before, but not quite like this, I don't think.
I don't think I've been here before, have I?
No, we might have passed by it.
Yeah, I don't think I've... This is cool.
It's changed so dramatically. It honestly, you could have and just don't remember.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. So I think we're running out of time here, but I think we might have time for one or two questions about the technical art. Ben, do you have anything?
We have had questions about the clouds. Just
Okay.
asking if they change while the seasons or climate kind of changes, will the clouds change with them?
Yes, is the short answer to that. They'll definitely, with time of day, with weather.
Awesome, man. The clouds look awesome too, by the way. How they just roll across the screen, they're looking so much better.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And I've got to say, it's not just my doing, and this has been the entire, the entire team's doing it. So the various artists, and, the designers, everyone, all the bits and pieces have been sort of working together. So the culmination of it is greater than the individual pieces.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it has been an awesome team effort. We have such talent on the team. It's great to see. Can probably take one more question and we'll wrap it up.
We had one about.
Sorry, Cohh, did you have anything from your viewers?
To be honest, I've just been seeing a lot of people be excited about everything.
Yeah. And your chat goes by really quickly. So
yeah.
Go ahead, Ben.
To be honest, our guys are just watching too. There's only been 2 questions, and one was about asking about nighttime, and the other one about clouds, and we're kind of in the darkness at the moment.
Okay. Well, just wanted to reiterate that this is just the first pass. You'll see a lot more coming in the future. We're getting everything ready for pre-alpha 1. We hope to have that going very soon, and it is your last chance to get in on that if you want pre-alpha 1. But if you don't, if you want to come in a little bit later, or even just interested in supporting the game, head on over to pantheonmmo.com. Lots of pledge packages available for you there. Cohh, thanks so much for having us. I really appreciate you hosting us on your stream and showing off a little bit of our game today.
Yeah, it is my absolute pleasure. Any opportunity you guys want to, oh my god, any opportunity, Kill's just murdering people in front of us. But anytime you guys want to do this, you just let me know. I love seeing the progress. I love seeing the new stuff. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. And thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Cohh.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, all right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and hang up. Thanks again, dudes, and I will catch you guys later. And congrats on your ding also. See you guys later.
See you guys.
Adios.
All right, my friends. Well, that is going to be it for this stream. There's going to be more, of course. They have hit the ground running with production. These last few months, they have just been pile driving through getting this game ready. As you can see today, they're making a lot of progress, a huge amount of progress. So hopefully we will get some dates soon for everything. And as always, make sure to stay glued to pantheonmmo.com for all the news, updates, and hopefully the time of our next stream, wherever it is on Twitch. But anyway, guys, as always, thank you for being here today. A shout out and thank you again to all the Pantheon developers. And I will catch you guys tomorrow morning, just like every single day at 8 a.m. EDT.